Hello everyone, this is Jerome Wright again, and you're joining me on my Jeronification channel here on YouTube. A week or so ago, while I was looking for new evidence and new materials to support my position that I've discovered something that is far greater than the Holy Grail, and the genetic referencing of that of mankind and how mankind was bridged over animals, and there being a record as to it all, and with people, well, there being an ancient rooted system that is actually being maintained here today, in our modern world, which is altering the genes of mankind in a cult-like fashion, through the blood and semen of not just these interventions with dealing with mankind, but with animals alike, from our land and from our seas. There's a clear record. It's all factual. I can point those in the direction that needs, the experts in the direction that needs to be go. Those that are interested in seeing the truth in what I have here, so this thing can be presented to the world in a mainstream way that it needs to be. It's my position that everything dealing with religion, I target a lot of that of Christianity, which is at the center point of this all, but it's my position that this is what is in religion globally. These are the founding roots of everything that I've actually discovered. Okay, and it's actually causing for the segregation of our world, the segregation of civilizations, the segregation of those civilizations and their continents, and this is how mankind has evolved from that of their original origins, which is that of ape, African, and then throughout the Asian world to finally to where we got our whites here in the end, or Caucasians here in the end. There's a clear path. There's a genetic blueprint, footprints, handprints, and there's a genetic record on how that it was all done. Okay, so I'm going to just be discussing this. I just found I did a video here on cave art and Neanderthals and cavemen and the earlier images. And I found that the most popular images that we will find online today, and actually I got this off of an Arthur Escalipart or something.org, prehistoric man in cave. I got this off this I don't know if you can see that that web page there that I actually got this off of. Okay, and I'm bringing it here to you today to show you that these things reference who you are, and it's always been that way, and it's just been missed by the masses, while a select few enjoy having this knowledge. And the enjoyment that they get from having this knowledge is that not only do they know what is good for you and what is not bad for you, they know what can help you and they know what can destroy you, and so forth and so on. And this is how you have kings and queens and royalty of our world today. And not just that, but you have the ancient rooted religions, those founding organizations, how they can enjoy a certain level under the guise of their identities, how they can enjoy a certain level of power, prosperity, and I mean everything over that of us. I mean, they know exactly what's going on with us, when to expect it. There's a timetable for it, because everything that is happening now, not so much happened before, but they know the process in which these things take place and what is actually occurring and what to expect almost through these records that they actually have. Now, I want to show you something about this cave art. And I'm going to bring up some other images that I actually brought up as well too, on how this looks just like a normal caveman family, and it seems like this caveman family is they've been out hunting, were successful in bringing home a deer, and their children are coming out to greet them as they come home here, which would seem logically clear based on what is actually here. But the true message with this is that you have two cavemen that have been previously bridged over, and now they're suggesting to you that they are, through this process, being bridged over again. And this is why you have this deer with his feet tied over this stick going between both men. Now you're saying, Jerome, I mean, this is just not possible. Well, I'm telling you that the genetics, these are readable genetics right here, in which I'm going to break them down on what's going on. Okay, and it shows that these genetics are now being reintroduced to the children, and the creature that ultimately went through this cycle is shown in the darkened areas here in the shadows, and you can see the snake-like creature going out towards the children, showing you that these genetics are being now introduced to them after these guys were genetically bridged. And that's what this image is all about. You see the little creature right there, the snake-like creature, the eye and the nose, the open mouth and the tongue. This creature here is an ancient gene that can actually be, I can pull out of practically every Renaissance artist's artwork that is famous. Now, let me show you what happened here. First, let's go here to the mountainside. The mountainside represents ancient rooted genetics by this stone, and over here the green stone represents that of reptilian. Shows you that they were bridged over. Now, what you don't see here is that in all of these references, it has to be referenced the ancient rooted genetics, which is that of either ape or that of black man, which was originally bridged over African man, which was originally bridged over by a reptilian. So all you have to do is come here to the reptilian side, that reptilian's mountainside represented by the green, and come down here, and lo and behold, you have a slash face of that of an ape slash African man, and they even have nerve to give that creature white powdery lips down here. Now, it shows that that creature was bridged over by the reptilian, the mammoth, and then it even has a mutation shown here in the rock here, which creates almost like, I'm going to tell you, the baboon-looking creature between the ape and the mammoth. And there's the head, there's the snout, there's the eye, and you can see that there was a bridging over, and then the skeleton, what was dropped out of those genetics, which represents life, death, and resurrection. That's what these fossils are here for, people. Went in, and then it's showing you what's being procured and what's being bridged over, and that's what the kids are representing. Now, it's a cyclination of these genes. Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like alongside here. That head that I'm telling you. Because now you can Google that site. Here's the creatures that are right there. I mean, in full detail. There's the eye, there's the head, there's those white powdery lips I told you about, there's the nostril, and it even has lines that represent the native presence of that of Africa. Look at this creature here. Now, I'm telling you that, look, bridged over the woolly the mammoth, bridged over the mammoth, the elephant, okay, and there was a mutation created between that genetic bridging, and there's the mutation right there. Part ape, mankind, woolly mammoth, which is almost a representation of like a wild boar or wild pig or the baboon. All of that right there. These bloodlines and those mutations being created, showing you a dropping off of the genetics, which is representing that of black man being dropped off, ape being dropped off, and this is how you got these lighter version of these likenesses, showing you that that was sent in to the founding stones, and this is what emerged. And now what they're showing you is that there is another genetic bridging. This is one that took place that calls for their likenesses. Notice how the children are lighter than their parents here or their relatives, showing you how they became light from that of black. Okay, now this cyclination is going on again, and this is representing another time in which it occurred. Now I'm going to take this down for a minute, and I'm going to take you to these men. Now, excuse me. What's being bridged over here? This guy here is telling you that the genetics of that of the ape, which was broken down. Here's that hide. This guy is showing you that in a caveman style way, using that image that we come to know, to show you that he emerged from that likeness of that creature, that ape, those broken down genetics, and here is his presence. This is what this is telling us. Now, what is being bridged over here besides this here? Now, there's another image that shows that this creature was bridged over during the time of the caveman, and I have other images that I'm going to bring up and I'll discuss. So, what's being bridged over? Land and sea. You say, well, damn, there's two men here, Jerome, and you just said that this guy is a broken down version of that of the ape, and his likenesses emerge from that of the broken down genes of the ape, and it shows the chemistry over here in which it all occurred, and it calls for these lighter versions of mankind. Well, this is true, but this guy was genetically introduced to no other than, and this is what's going on in Renaissance art. This can be found at the images of the Last Supper. They're wearing the cloaks. They're cloaked in the skins of the creatures that they were bridged over. And this here, my people, is the cloak of that of whale shark. Killer whale shark. Let's put it that way. And this is what this is about. And this is how you get oceanic intervention genetically, and land, which was already broken down. And this can be read from the beginning throughout to current. There are mutations that are shown. And you're saying, well, where's the mutations at here, Jerome? Alright, you got my attention. This guy is wearing the felt or the skin of the broken down version of that of the black man, the ape. And it shows you how they became lighter. It went from that ape image, that black-haired ape image, to now to this image. And then this man is now showing you that he's emerging from that, almost like a snake shedding his skin. And then this man over here, this caveman is showing us the same thing. He was bridged over with that of the sea creatures. And then this creature was actually calls for another breakdown. And I'm going to show you where those genes went. I know what the genes and the genetics are. Now, if you look in their bodies, it shows in their anatomy. And Michelangelo has done this. Da Vinci has done this. A lot of Renaissance artists era, they have taken, and this is why they have studied and mastered the anatomy, the human anatomy. Because they knew, not only did they know how we evolved through these creatures and how we were continually being genetically bridged over, they mastered the anatomy so they can include these creatures into the body portions, the torsos, to show you it's an encryption style. So those that know of what's going on, unlike the many of us don't know what's going on, well, y'all don't, I do. They know to look into the body, and they show you which genetic emerged. And in this guy's body, you can see the face of that of a reptilian, based on his interventions with that of the shark and this creature. And it shows you a mutation. There's the mouth, there's the nose, there's the cheek lines, there's an eye there, that's the right eye, and the left eye is over here in that nipple area. I'm going to bring up that again, that image again, and show you. See the face highlighted there? And if you look down towards the legs, where his foot is tossed back, it shows you mutations. Look at it here, where this guy shown making the contact. Look, and long and behold, you have almost like a calf-like creature right there, and then it shows even that creature making contact, its mouth open on the felt of this. And then you have another mutation in the face, in the form of a face, of a man's face, which is there, the nose, the eye, and it shows you a horned being, showing you pretty much the mutations in which were created from this. The records are very clear, people. Very clear. This is an image that you can Google and now look at it for what it is. Now, the cocktail and the chemistry of all of this are now being reintroduced back into itself. And this is why you having the children run out not to greet their fathers for food and to say, hey, welcome back, you're home, but to now be genetically rebridged with the cocktail, with the chemistry, with the cauldron-like, cult-like chemistry of genetics. And it's shown right here which those genetics are. And I have identified those genetics. Shows where they begun. Look at this as being ape, African, bridged over by reptilian. The elephant, the mammoth, mutation shown, genes being dropped off, which this skull-like image can always, and bones always are shown. That's why you see it in Christianity. You see them in images of Renaissance images, very popular in that of Mary Magdalene, with Jesus, and all of these defining features can always be seen because it represents death and resurrection. There's life here. They can't put a whole elephant there because that would blow their cover. So they encrypt it, make it look like this was a previous kill. Got the horn, the tusk there, but then it shows, it gives itself away by showing you what mutation was created. And you have almost like an elephant or mammoth body mixed in with that of an ape with a pig-like creature, which represents, and if you think about it, the pig-like creature and the baboon are almost hand in one, almost genetically the same there in their features. Look at the wild boar on how its body is up front, as in relation to that of the baboon. These are how these mutations and different likenesses of mankind's genetics were created, but not just mankind, but with creatures of our world. And there's a record for that as well too. And then finally, it shows you where these genetics are going, entering in, coming out, and then look, and then touched again. And this is what's being signified here. Now, we have that deer and that gazelle, whatever you want to call it there. I have that image also in black and white. I actually printed it out black and white, which will give you another version. Even actually makes that head. But look how you can see the face there, people. In the rocks, hidden, encrypted. And look at the lips that I told you about, which creates, it's almost like a bone, but it gives it its powdery lip look, like the I forgot what they used to call those people, because it was a big thing about it on TV in the back time. Remember when they used to have the black faces and the powder lips on black images, black people images that were on TV, those type of images and stuff. I forgot what they called it, like the Aunt Your Mama look and all of that stuff there, like the slave look, or but that's what is there. The black face with the big white lips right there. Right there, I'm at the lips. okay, encrypted in the rocks. And again, look people, there's the tusk showing you that there was a genetic bridging over and there was a reptilian intervention, and the mutation is here. Shows you that mutation, and then look, the skull shows you what was dropped out, all breaking down of the genetics of that of the 8th black man. Shows you that those genes was shut down, and now it's showing you that look, the likenesses are no longer that of black man, but this is the emerging likenesses which are now being rebridged again, and it's showing you that there's a further bridging going on, and this is what subsequently calls for the likenesses of that. And I'm stating is the last creations that we have here are that of our Caucasian counterparts and white counterparts, and this is why this is all happening, and we have those different variations in our likenesses of our Caucasian counterparts today, which is the longer hair, the different color hairs, the different color eyes, but they can all be compared to creatures of our world. To creatures of our world. Look at our lions, look at our pigs, look at our dogs, look at our oh gosh, I mean, look at our fish, look at everything, and the variations of everything that I'm telling you can be matched identically to that of mankind. Namely, the later creations, which was that of our white counterparts. This is where they get their different likenesses from, because they were the ones that are actually the last. We're coming through an evolutionary time where all of these chemistries that were done are now there, and I'm telling you that, I mean, and this is the end, I mean, not the ending result, but this is what's happening, and I'm telling you that it's continuing, that this is continuing. Now, this puts a whole new spin on everything, because I'm telling you that these creatures evolved into our world with this knowledge already on how to do this. I have evidence which not only suggests but shows us that the likenesses of ape knew how to genetically alter themselves, or the existences of ape knew how to alter themselves. I'm telling you that sharks, creatures of our world, knew how to genetically alter themselves. I'm telling you, and ultimately evolve onto land. I'm telling you that all of these creatures came already with the instinctive knowledge on how to do this. So our ancestors, and I'm going to say, and there's a big part of African history which is missing. That is the most probably damaged ancient history that we have to date, which is in Africa. I mean, because we can find stuff every other part of the world, but in Africa, it just seems that that place was not just robbed of his identity. I mean, its riches, its diamonds and its ore and all of that stuff there. It just was completely in its freedom, but it was completely robbed of everything, destroyed, as far as with the ancient history. But I'm telling you that I can show you that Africans knew also how to genetically alter themselves. And the end result, when I keep saying the end result because there's not no end to this, is through all of those alterings from out of Africa, the continent of Africa, the different variation and likenesses of people, that you can follow those genes to where they went over to the Asian world, the Asian world, and then finally the Europeans and all of these other parts of our continents and our globe and these civilizations. And this is why there is separation, and this then the final result that we have, which is not the final result, I keep saying the final result, is where we are today with our white counterparts, whom were genetically touched by all of these creatures. Now, I'm going to take you back up to another caveman picture. You see these guys carrying this deer? I'm going to show you another image where an artist did the same exact thing, because they all seem to, I'm going to leave this up. Well, I can leave that one up with the deer. They all seem to somehow touch base and touch nerve on the same thing. That's what I like about these encryptions, because these encryptions tell us the truth. Oh, remember that? I'm going to show you that snake-like object. I'm going to show you something about what's going on here. Where's my other picture? I should have that deer there somewhere. Oh, here you go. Remember I told you about this creature right here? I'm going to show you this creature. I don't point this creature out in a couple, but look at the deer. Look. Remember this ape image-like head right there? Look at this. Long and behold, look at what we have here. There's that deer. We have our cave-like man there. Look. Long and behold, there's an encryption that shows you that this creature was bridged over, and it shows you just like this is going at. It's showing you a cyclination, and it's just like what is happening here. The same message coming up. In the torso or in the anatomy of this guy, you see this woman, which is the witch-like woman, who I dub as the mother of creation. And if you look closely at the anatomy, you will see the mutations that were resulted. And long and behold, over here, there's a image which represents this guy. Okay. I have this video out. I'm not gonna touch base on this, but even in the landscape back here, there's elephants back here. There's crocodiles and everything encrypted into the landscape. Okay, and it shows you the direction of these genes. Now, that's one that was familiar to. I mean, I'm similar to that. That's the reason why I brought that up. Now, here's another, and these are all images that you'll see by just Googling them. Where we at here? I'm going to show you another. I'm revisiting something that I already posted already, so I'm going to go through these real quick. Let me bring this up. Here's another Neanderthal or so image. See the guys? See that ape-like creature sitting there? Now this is an entire group of these creatures that begin over here and then go over there. But what you don't see is that he picked up the genetics from over here. Okay, well, it was called, and I'm going to show you what was over there. And when he took those genetics into his body, they're shown going up his arm and genetically altering him. What you don't see is that it shows how he starts to genetically become a man. Now look at this on his side there. You'll see a long nose, there's a mouth, there's an eye there, which again is, I dub this as the witch-like woman, the mother of creation. And it shows at that point that he was genetically altered. Now long and behold, look at his kneecap. This is his knee, people. Look at the likeness and the mutation which was created. He has his hand wrapped around his, showing you how he was genetically becoming altered from that, and then the genes are shown going over to here. They were passed along, and look, there's that snake-like creature again, this like creature right here, encrypted here, and it shows how he started altering, genetically altered to this likeness, which is right here. See that in the anatomy? Shows you the path. Look, coming up from here, picked up here, went up the arm, into this creature, showed you what was going on here. Then it showed you his likeness and saying goodbye to that, leaving that alone, and look, going off, and there we have it there, that this image has emerged genetically. And it began over here. That's what these images are all about. And I drew that woman out, I think right here, on what she actually looked like, and show you, look, how they coming up the arm. Look at this. You see that? That's why these images look so bizarre, people. And this image can be realized both ways, this way and the other way. Now, let me take that away. Oh, over there where he picked up the genetics. What genetics did that ape pick up from over here? That I showed you that he was over here picking up right there with his hand. This is what he was picking up. Look at this. Remember that baboon-like creature I told you and all of that? Look at this. How this guy, this is not his actual, I mean, I highlighted this. This is all complete, actually one face, but look at the morphing faces. Like in transition. 1, 2, 3. Look at these creatures. All coming up the back from over here. And it's showing you where they originated at, from over there with the monkey and the whole nine. Look at that. And it shows you how it was done and how they were altered. It's a blueprint, people. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep going because this is all coming from that one image. I'm going to go to my monkey images now that I'm on the roll here with this. Remember I showed you again with this, did I draw it out on here? I don't know if alright. Here's another one of these monkeys. Remember when I told you that this is an early image? And you know the chimpanzee is the closest ancestor that we have to that of the ape, the chimp. So the chimp is actually 98% genetically compatible with us, with mankind. Now, notice that these chimps are here looking like they're just out there, just having a good old time or whatever. But what you don't see is this death and resurrection again. This baboon-looking skull here, down. Look now how the bones are on the ground here to create the likeness of a skull and of a mankind skull. Look at this. The eye socket. Look, this laid down. There's the eye socket. Look at the top of the mouth, and here's the lower piece of the mouth, showing you. And look, and he showed you that he has a piece of it. I have a video on this. It shows you a genetic cyclination, and it shows you how mankind emerged from these creatures. And this artist, just like many other artists, had the knowledge of this. Here's a smaller version of the same image. So, well, I don't think you can see it there though. But look at that. And it shows you a cycle which took place, which calls for these creatures to go back out and ultimately become that of mankind. I got a video out on that. I'm not going to keep going into that because I showed that already. Now, here's another image of these creatures. And again, look at this. It's showing us the same thing. All of this is representing genetic bridging. Now, in my video with this, I think I showed you some highlights and all. But look, I'm going to show you something. Look at over here. You have these like rhinoceroses over here. Okay, showing you that there was a genetic bridging. Now, let me show you what this ape is showing you, telling you that he was bridged over with, and this ape. Look at this ape here. Just like in the same other one. Now look at their clothing. Now in this clothing they have a different encryption style. Look at how there is a face right here. Okay, but I'm going to show you something else. Remember here they had the horn of the elephant. I mean, not the horn, the tusk of the elephant or the woolly mammoth. Here, you see his face. There's his cranium, there's his eye socket, here's his trunk, and this represents his tusk, all encrypted, showing you how this creature was genetically altered. Now, you know what is over here? Look at this guy, and I mean, besides all through his body there, but you will see the image and the likeness of the ape. There's the eye, there's the nostril, there's the top lip of the mouth, There's the mouth opening, there's the bottom, and it shows you that guy's morphing in both areas. And again, this image can be read too, because you know what it references, people? The genetic bridging of mankind, which subsequently calls for the likenesses of these guys. And it shows you that they knew who we were and how we evolved. The artist. And the artist is basing their record, on something that they have learned from their schools, from their mentors, whom all this came from the Renaissance era, which was overseen by that of our ancient rooted Christian leaders. Alright, now I'm going to take you to another artist. Look at this. Reptilians, dinosaurs, and mutations in their bodies. What's the name of this? Do I have the name of this? This is Killing Dragons by Collard after Stratimus, and this is 1640. Alright? Again, why in the world is this guy reaching at his penis and got his fingers out saying 2? You see what I'm saying, people? Look at this. Genetic altering. Look, shows you the different levels. And in fact, I have a there. There's actually, I'm going to show you I got my finger on it there. It actually shows you how this goes all the way around, and how this is a bridging over, and then it shows you what was bridged over here, and this actually becomes a snaking long penis, which actually comes all the way back to this guy right here. And I have a video on that as well too. But lo and behold, look back here how they have these two creatures genetically meeting, which is the croc, I believe, and the elephant. I can't see that now. I forgot what that creature was. But it shows you how all of these genetics were bridged over, and that's what this is about. Now, if this is Killing Dragons by Stratimus, why are these creatures over here being shown at each other's throat? You know why? Because the whole picture represents killing the genes, not killing dragons, because dragons are not supposed to have existed with mankind. But genetically, they do, because those genes from those creatures were genetically in us. And when you see a reference of that, especially with St. George, I believe it is, or yeah, I believe it's St. George, and he's always slaying these dragons, and the dragon is normally black, or look like in blackness. The further you go back, the dragon is either black or it looks like a black creature. Slaying of dragons is the creature that was used to bridge ape over Africans, and which ultimately created a gene that now they are showing in record that they are ridding their bodies of. And this is what these images are commemorating. Extracting genes which were introduced into mankind. And what's sad about all of this is that those individuals that, unbeknown to them, that those genes are left in their body, and this is what people are suffering from today on different continents, because these genes are being bridged over and left behind, cross-contaminated again after being cross-contaminated in the first place, and after being cross-contaminated in the first place. And I can show you the whole trail of which these cross-contaminations took place. They're left behind to die, and therefore an extinction is going to happen out of that. And this is the reason why I made that video the other day about hair loss and all of that, because these are all of the contributing factors. These alterings, these bridgings over, are not causing a short-term effect, but a long-term effect, in which I can actually tell you what they all are as well too. Alright, now I'm going to get out of this one, and I'm going to take you to one more. And it all came from that first one. That I have to go back to this one because they all are relating to that. Now, this is by, I think, Francis Gupta, and this appeared in the London Times, I think, in 1901. And this is an ancestor, the man 20,000 years ago. And this here is just truly amazing, because you have this ape here, and it kind of make you wonder what in the hell is going on. What is this guy saying? But the shadow that he's casting is not of his own. It's a reptilian. It's a reptilian ape. Oh gosh, my phone is ringing. It's a reptilian ape. Hold on for 1 second. I'm gonna call you right back. I'm gonna close the video out. I'm gonna call you right back. Alright, I'm back. It's actually casting an image of a reptilian ape. Then it has a triceratops down here. And it's just truly amazing. Let me take you to my highlights, because I'm gonna close this video out. And here are my highlights. There's the reptilian ape. That's what the shadow. If you Google this image, a man of 1,000 years ago. Oh, hold on, let me get that right. An ancestor, a man of 20,000 years ago. You can make the same exact highlights. Look at how the triceratops is here, with his mouth open, and it has, by the way, people, a penis in his mouth, bent over, and the other end of the penis is going into no other than that of a woolly-like horse's mouth. You see that there? You see the snout of that horse? That penis is in its mouth there. And you see that horse there, right? That different shading of color. That represents almost like a Clydesdale horse there. You see that, people? And then it shows you these genetics being bridged over. And it's all in this creature's body. And look, here's another guy here. Look at this. Another penis bent over. Look at this, people. Look at these faces. It shows you the genetics coming from here to there. Look, to here, to there. Look at the bridging. Here, look at the faces, all in this creature's body. Look at this. Look at the faces, the images of mankind in there, showing you how these versions, these likenesses from these creatures were bridged over. And look, from the reptilian ape that nobody knew about until I brought this creature up. Look at the creatures. Look. Then the ape shows you what was bridged over. There's a record, people. And then all over here, the skulls, all of that. Look at this, all laid to rest. Look at this, people. Shows you what caused for this creature to subsequently genetically come along and to what we have today. I'm going to end this video there because I got phone calls coming out. I'm over my time here. I'm going to get going. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jeronification channel. And it all started from this. And I'm telling you that where you have these famous images and they attract your attention, and you're just saying, damn, what is it about this picture that has me so intrigued with it? It's because of these encryptions, these little encryptions that you instinctively, this knowledge is instinctively in you. Because this process that calls for me, that calls for you, that calls for everybody globally, is instinctively in us. Because genetically, we evolved through this time. You know what I mean? And records are never destroyed. So even your children have an instinctive awareness of all of this. Because they are a part of the process that caused, I mean, that they genetically came through. I mean, it wouldn't, if it wasn't for this, it wouldn't be for us. So therefore, the informations from it all are passed along, almost like your computer. If you keep passing it along, if somebody keep putting information in and keep putting information and adding information into the hard, the kids keep adding information, all that information is stored. Through the blood, through the semen, through your body secretions, all of your information It's genetically within you, through your DNA, through their DNA, through this, all of this process. And then I'm taking it a stretch further and telling you that from everything that is in existence, including space, all of this information is in us. And this is why we are so intrigued and impressed with it all. It's just that what's happening is this knowledge which is already in you, that you can go into yourself and pull out yourself. But the key to doing that is that you have to take and let go of this divine stuff that's going on in your mind and the other informations in so much as far as about this alien crap. My name is Jerome Wright, and you're on my alien UFOs. I mean, not on my alien. I'm on my alien UFOs channels too, but you're on my Jeronification channel, and you're watching my this video reference. And I'm telling you now, people, that it's truly amazing, and just pass my information along because I'm losing my train of thought. Thank you, and I appreciate you for watching. And I'm bringing it here to you today to show you that these things reference who you are, and it's always been that way, and it's just been missed by the masses, while a select few enjoy having this knowledge. And the enjoyment that they get from having this knowledge is that not only do they know what is good for you and what is not bad for you, they know what can help you and they know what can destroy you, and so forth and so on. And this is how you have kings and queens and royalty of our world today. And not just that, but you have the ancient rooted religions, those founding organizations, how they can enjoy a certain level under the guise of their identities, how they can enjoy a certain level of power, prosperity, and I mean everything over that of us. I mean, they know exactly what's going on with us, when to expect it. There's a timetable for it, because everything that is happening now, not so much happened before, but they know the process in which these things take place and what is actually occurring and what to expect almost through these records that they actually have. Now, I'm going to show you something about this cave art. And I'm going to bring up some other images that I actually brought up as well too, on how this looks just like a normal caveman family. Hello everyone, this is Jerome Wright again, and you're joining me on my Jeronification channel here on YouTube. A week or so ago, while I was looking for new evidence and new materials to support my position that I've discovered something that is far greater than the Holy Grail, and the genetic referencings of that of mankind, and how mankind was bridged over animals, and there being a record as to it all, and with people, well, there being an ancient rooted system that is actually being maintained here today in our modern world, which is altering the genes of mankind in a cult-like fashion, through the blood and semen of not just these interventions with dealing with mankind, but with animals alike, from our land and from our seas. There's a clear record. It's all factual. I can point those in the direction that needs, the experts in the direction that needs to be go, those that are interested in seeing the truth in what I have here, so this thing can be presented to the world in a mainstream way that it needs to be. It's my position that everything dealing with religion, I target a lot of that of Christianity, and it seems like this caveman family is they've been out hunting, were successful in bringing home a deer, and their children are coming out to greet them as they come home here, which would seem logically clear based on what is actually here. But the true message with this is that you have two cavemen that have been previously bridged over, and now they're suggesting to you that they are, through this process, being bridged over again. And this is why you have this deer with his feet tied over this stick going between both men. Now you're saying, Jerome, I mean, this is just not possible. Well, I'm telling you that the genetics, these are readable genetics right here, in which I'm going to break them down on what's going on. Okay? And it shows that these genetics are now being reintroduced to the children, and the creature that ultimately went through this cycle is shown in the darkened areas here in the shadows. And you can see the snake-like creature going out towards the children, showing you that these genetics are being now introduced to them after these guys were genetically bridged. And that's what this image is all about. You see the little creature right there, the snake-like creature, the eye and the nose, the open mouth, and the tongue. This creature here is an ancient gene, deity, which is at the center point of this all. But it's my position that this is what is in religion globally. These are the founding roots of everything that I've actually discovered. Okay, and it's actually causing for the segregation of our world, the segregation of civilizations, the segregation of those civilizations and their continents, and this is how mankind has evolved from that of their original origins, which is that of ape, African, and then throughout the Asian world to finally to where we got our whites here in the end, or Caucasians here in the end. There's a clear path. There's a genetic blueprint, footprints, handprints, and there's a genetic record on how that was all done. Okay, so I'm going to just be discussing this. I just found I did a video here on cave art, Neanderthals and cavemen and the earlier images, and I found that the most popular images that we will find online today, and actually I got this off of an Arthur Escalipart or something.org, prehistoric man in cave. I got this off this I don't know if you can see that that web page there that I actually got this off of. Okay, and I can pull out of practically every Renaissance artist's artwork that is famous. Now, let me show you what happened here. First, let's go here to the mountainside. The mountainside represents ancient rooted genetics by this stone, and over here the green stone represents that of reptilian. Shows you that they were bridged over. Now, what you don't see here is that in all of these references, it has to be referenced the ancient rooted genetics, which is that of either ape or that of black man, which was originally bridged over, African man, which was originally bridged over by a reptilian. So all you have to do is come here to the reptilian side, that reptilian's mountainside represented by the green, and come down here, and lo and behold, you have a slash face of that of an ape slash African man, and they even have nerve to give that creature white powdery lips down here. Now, it shows that that creature was bridged over by the reptilian, the mammoth, and then it even has a mutation shown here in the rock here, which creates almost like, I'm going to tell you, the baboon-looking creature between the ape and the mammoth. And there's the head, there's the snout, there's the eye, and you can see that there was a bridging over